You can't defeat me. You can try, you can throw obstacles in my way. You can throw pain at me. You can throw storms at me. You can laugh at me. You can doubt me. You can whisper behind my back. You can stack the odds against me. But hear me when I say this. You cannot defeat me because the only way you can defeat me is if I quit. The only way you can stop me is if I stop. And I made up my mind. I will not quit. I will not stop. I will not surrender. You don't understand what I've been through to get here. Hey, you don't know the nights I cried. You don't know the times I failed. You don't know the times I wanted to give up, but didn't. I've already survived things that should have broken me. I've already walked through storms that should have drowned me. I've already faced mountains that should have crushed me, but I'm still standing. So what makes you think you can break me now? Defeat doesn't live in me. I've been knocked down, but I always get back up. I've been counted out, but I always show up again. I've been told I'm not good enough, but I keep proving them wrong. I've been hit with failure, but I treat it like fuel. I've been betrayed, but I kept my heart strong. You can't defeat someone who refuses to stay down. You can't destroy someone who uses pain as power. You can't stop someone who turns every setback into a setup for a comeback. Life is not easy, I know that. But I'm not here for easy. I'm not here for comfort. I'm not here for handouts. I'm here to fight. I'm here to grind. I'm here to outlast everything that comes against me. You can't defeat me because I've already decided there's no quit button in me. You can't defeat me because my will is stronger than the weapons you throw. Oh, you can't defeat me because I've got a vision and I bleed for it, sweat for it, sacrifice for it, do whatever it takes for it. I don't fear failure. I don't fear rejection. I don't fear pain. What I fear is quitting on myself. What I fear is looking in the mirror, knowing I didn't give everything I had. And fear keeps me moving. That fear keeps me grinding. That fear keeps me unstoppable. And because of that, you can't defeat me. You see, defeat only comes when you accept it. Defeat only comes when you accept it. Defeat only comes when you believe it. Defeat only comes when you lay down and give it permission to win. But me, I don't accept it. I don't believe it. I don't give it permission. You can't defeat me because I never agree to lose. So go ahead, throw your worst at me, test me, push me, doubt me, mock me. It won't matter. And I'll turn every insult into motivation. I'll turn every roadblock into a stepping stone. I'll turn every failure into a lesson. I'll turn every scar into strength. You can't defeat me because I've already decided nothing can stop me but me. And I refuse to stop. Defeat only wins if you quit. Let me say that again so it sinks in. Defeat only wins if you quit. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It doesn't matter how many people count you out. It doesn't matter how ugly the journey looks right now. You can't lose unless you stop moving. The game only ends when you decide to give up. And that's why I refuse to quit. That's why I'm still standing. That's why no matter what life throws at me, I can't be defeated. I need you to catch this. Pain is not defeat. Struggle is not defeat. Struggle is not defeat. Losing battles is not defeat. Failure is not defeat. All of those things are temporary. They're part of the process. They are building blocks. They're moments you pass through. But quitting is permanent. Quitting is signing the contract that says, I accept defeat. I allow it to own me. I surrender my future. That's the only way defeat becomes real. And that's the one thing you can control. You don't ever have to sign that contract. Some of you right now are living with pressure. You feel like the walls are closing in. You're broke, you're tired, you're stressed, and everything inside of you is screaming to quit. But hear me, that feeling is not defeat. That's just the storm before the breakthrough. That's just the pain of growth. That's just life testing you to see how bad you want it. And if you quit now, you never see the other side. You never see what all that pain was producing. No. You never see what all those tears were watering. Don't confuse the storm with defeat. The storm only defeats you if you pack it up and walk away. Look at every champion, every legend, every person who made history. None of them got there without failure. None of them got there without struggle. None of them got there without wanting to quit at some point. The difference is they didn't quit. They didn't sign that defeat contract. They stayed in the fight when others walked away. They kept swinging when their arms were heavy. They kept running when their legs were burning. When their legs were burned. They kept believing when everybody else doubted. That's why they're legends. Not because they never failed, but because they refused to stay down. You don't need perfection to win. You don't need talent to win. You don't need luck to win. You need one thing: refusal to quit, refusal to stop. Refusal to accept defeat as your final story. Because when you refuse to quit, you can outlast anything. You can outlast the pain. You can outlast the criticism. You can outlast the mistakes. You can outlast the failures. You can outlast the doubts. And if you keep showing up, eventually life has to hand you the win. Think about it. Life is like a fight. Every punch, every hit, every round is designed to test you. And most people don't lose because the punch was too hard. They lose because they stayed on the ground. The difference between the defeated and the victorious is not strength, it's choice. The victorious choose to rise. The victorious choose to get back up. The victorious choose to keep swinging. And as long as you keep choosing, defeat can't hold you. There were times in my life when I thought it was over. Times when I was broke, when I was broken, when I had nothing left. Times when I was embarrassed, when I felt like a failure, when I thought the world had passed me by, but I didn't quit. I didn't sign the contract. And because I didn't quit, I discovered new strength I didn't even know I had. I discovered doors I didn't know existed. I discovered wins I didn't think were possible. That's what happens when you refuse to quit. Life eventually rewards your endurance. But listen, I get it. Quitting feels easier. True, quitting feels like relief. Quitting feels like rest. Quitting feels like escape. But it's a trap. It's temporary relief with permanent consequences. Because once you quit, you can't take it back. Once you quit, you live with the regret. Once you quit, you live with the what if. And that's a heavier weight than any struggle you're carrying right now. Pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. Don't carry forever regret because you want a temporary comfort. I'm telling you, the people you admire, the people you respect, the people you look up to, they weren't better than you. They weren't luckier than you. They weren't even stronger than you. They just had one mindset. I refuse to quit. And that's available to you. That's a choice you can make today. You can walk out of here deciding that no matter what happens, quitting is not an option. That no matter how hard it gets, quitting is not on the table. That no matter who doubts you, quitting is not your language. And when you make that decision, you're already undefeated. See, defeat isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. Life can hit you, but life doesn't decide your outcome. You do. Life can knock you down, but life doesn't keep you there. You decide whether to get up. Life can delay you, but life doesn't define you. You decide whether to keep moving. Defeat can't win unless you let it. And as long as you keep going, as long as you keep grinding, as long as you keep showing up, defeat is powerless. So stop worrying about the scoreboard and about the timeline. Stop worrying about the timeline. Stop worrying about how many times you fail. None of that matters if you're still in the fight, because the fight's not over until you quit. And if you never quit, you never lose. The longer you endure, the more the odds shift in your favor. The more you refuse to stop, the more inevitable your victory becomes. That's why I say it again. Defeat only wins if you quit. Refuse to quit and you become unstoppable. So the next time you feel like you can't go on, remember this, it's not about how you feel. It's about what you choose. You may feel weak, but you can choose to keep moving. You may feel scared, but you can choose to keep stepping. You may feel broken, but you can choose to keep fighting. Feelings don't define your future. Choices do. And as long as you choose not to quit, you're still in the game. Oh, and one day when you look back, you'll realize that all the pain, all the struggle, all the nights you thought you couldn't make it, all the moments you wanted to quit, those were the very moments that built your strength, your character, your resilience. Those were the moments that shaped the champion in you. And you'll be proud, not because it was easy, but because you didn't let defeat win. You refused to quit. And that refusal made all the difference. So I'm challenging you right now. Make the decision. Refuse to quit. Refuse to surrender. Refuse to sign the defeat contract. Because as long as you keep fighting, as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep showing up, you cannot be defeated. You may get delayed. You may get detoured. You may get knocked down, but you will not be defeated. because defeat only wins if you quit. And quitting is not in you. Your pain is not punishment, it's preparation. I need you to grab hold of that right now because too many of you are living like pain means God, life, or the universe is against you. You're acting like pain is some cruel game designed to break you. But let me tell you the truth. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a trainer. Pain is a trainer. Pain is a forge. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. It's not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. See, we live in a world where everybody wants the prize without the process. Everybody wants the glory without the grind. Everybody wants the crown without the cross. But it doesn't work like that. If you want greatness, if you want resilience, if you want to walk into the life you've been dreaming about, then pain has to train you. Struggle has to stretch you. Hardship has to harden you. You don't get muscles without resistance. You don't get strength without weight. And you don't get growth without pain. But here's the problem. When pain shows up, most people misread it. They think it's punishment. They think life is picking on them. They think the universe is against them. So instead of embracing pain, they run from it. Instead of learning from it, they numb themselves. Instead of growing through it, they quit. And that's why they never get to the next level, because the very thing designed to prepare them is the thing they keep rejecting. You got to shift your perspective. Stop looking at pain like a prison and start looking at it like preparation. Stop asking them why me and start asking them, what is this teaching me? Stop crying about the storm and start realizing the storm is making you stronger. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't help. No. If it didn't stretch you, it wouldn't strengthen you. If it didn't challenge you, it wouldn't change you. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the process. Think about it. Every diamond was once a piece of coal under pressure. Every sword was once just a piece of steel until it was placed in the fire and hammered into shape. Every champion was once just an ordinary person who went through extraordinary pain and refused to break. The pressure, the fire, the struggle, that's what makes them shine. That's what makes them sharp. That's what makes them sharp. That's what makes them unstoppable. And that's what pain is doing in your life right now, shaping you for the level you've been praying for. You say you want success, then you better get comfortable being uncomfortable. You say you want greatness, then you better embrace the grind. You say you want to change your life, then stop running from the very tool that's trying to change you. Pain is the price tag of growth. You don't pay it once, you pay it daily. And every time you pay with sweat, with tears, with sacrifice, you're making a deposit into your future self. You're preparing a version of you who can handle what you're asking for. Here's the truth. Everybody wants the blessing, but not everybody can handle the blessing because blessings come with weight. Success comes with responsibility. Leadership comes with sacrifice. And if you haven't been through pain, if you haven't been stretched, if you haven't been broken and rebuilt, you won't have the character to carry the blessing. Pain is building that character. Pain is enlarging your capacity. Pain is getting you ready for what's ahead. You ready for what's ahead? You ever notice how champions can walk into pressure and not fold? How leaders can face storms and not panic? How successful people can carry weight others collapse under? That's not luck. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's preparation. That's nights of pain that nobody saw. That's seasons of hardship that trained them. They went through the fire and now they don't break easy. That's what pain gives you. Durability. It makes you unshakable. It makes you unmovable. It makes you ready for whatever comes. And here's the part most people miss. Pain is personal. The preparation you're going through is tailored for you. That's why your journey doesn't look like anyone else's. That's why you can't compare your pain to somebody else's. Because what you're carrying, what you're building, what you're destined for, it requires a certain kind of training. It requires a specific kind of resistance. It requires a personal process. So don't resent your pain. Respect it. It's shaping you for your assignment. But I won't sugarcoat it. Pain hurts. Preparation hurts. And sometimes it'll feel like it's too much. But here's what you got to remind yourself in those moments. It's not here to kill me. It's here to grow me. It's not here to bury me. It's here to build me. It's not punishment. It's preparation. And when you hold on to that mindset, you stop running. You stop whining. You stop whining. You stop folding, and you start leaning into the process. You start learning the lessons. You start embracing the growth, and that's when you transform. Think back on your life, some of the strongest parts of you right now. Your patience, your courage, your resilience, your wisdom, they didn't come from easy days. They didn't come from comfort. They didn't come from sitting on the sidelines. They came from the nights you cried yourself to sleep, but still got up in the morning. They came from the seasons when you were broke, but you still pushed forward. They came from the heartbreaks, the failures, the betrayals, the letdowns. All that pain prepared you. And if you survive those seasons, don't you dare think this one will break you. If it didn't kill you then, it won't kill you now. It's preparing you. But here's the challenge. Preparation only works if you endure it. If you quit in the middle of the process, you don't get the benefit of the pain. You don't get the growth. You don't get the strength. You don't get the reward. That's why most people never see the fruit of their struggle, because they checked out before the preparation was done. They walked away before the training was complete. They quit before the breakthrough came. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare throw away what your pain is building. Endure it. Stand in it. Let it finish its work. So the next time life hits you, stop saying, "Well, I'm cursed." Stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" Start saying that this is preparing me. This is shaping me. This is stretching me. This is stretching me. Start welcoming the lessons inside the pain. Start trusting the process, because every scar you earn now will be the strength you lean on later. Every tear you shed now will water the victory you celebrate later. Every sacrifice you make now will prepare you for the success you're about to step into. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. And when you finally understand that, you stop fearing it. You stop running from it. You stop hating it. You start embracing it. You start thanking it. Because you realize pain is not against you. Pain is for you. Pain is proof that you're being stretched for something greater. Pain is evidence that you're being trained for the next level. And if you can endure the pain, you'll step into the power. So hear me one last time. Don't confuse preparation with punishment. Don't confuse training with torture. Don't confuse stretching with breaking. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. And when the preparation is done, when you've endured the fire, when you've survived the pressure, when you've carried the weight, you'll be able to stand in rooms you once only dreamed of, carry responsibilities you once thought were impossible, and handle blessings you once prayed for. That's the gift of pain. That's the reward of preparation. So don't give up. Don't run away. Don't despise your pain. Lean into it. Learn from it. Grow through it. Because your pain is not punishment. It's preparation. And one day you'll look back and realize it was the very thing that made you unstoppable. Every setback is a setup for a stronger comeback. Let me say that again, because you need to hear it until it sinks into your bones. Every single setback in your life, every fall, every failure, every disappointment, every rejection, every no, every moment that knocked the wind out of you. Every time you thought it was over, all of it is not the end. It's the setup. It's the seed. It's the preparation for the comeback that will shock everybody, including you. See, life we're here. Let's stop acting surprised. Let's stop acting like storms only come for us. Let's stop crying like the struggle is personal. It's not personal. It's universal. Everybody gets hit. Everybody takes losses. Everybody has chapters they don't want to read out loud. But here's the difference between those who rise and those who stay down. The ones who rise see setbacks as fuel. The ones who rise see setbacks as setups. The ones who rise understand that being knocked down is not the end. It's the beginning of the comeback. Listen to me, you can't even have a comeback without a setback. You can't bounce back if you've never been down. You can't recover if you've never lost something, and you can't rise up if you've never been pushed low. The comeback is only powerful because of the setback. That's why your story will inspire people, not because you never fell, but because you fell and got back up, stronger, wiser, hungrier, more determined. But the problem is most of us let setbacks define us. We take failure and make it our identity. We take rejection and make it our limit. We take pain and make it permanent. We think a no means never. We think a closed door means the house doesn't exist. And because of that, we quit too early. We give up before the comeback is even possible. We surrender when the story was just about to turn in our favor. You got to change the way you see setbacks. Stop looking at them like a curse and start looking at them like a course. They're teaching you. They're redirecting you. They're strengthening you. Every setback has something inside it that will serve you later, but only if you refuse to quit. Only if you stick around long enough to see the other side. Think about it. Some of the greatest champions, inventors, leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, their stories are packed with setbacks. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. Walt Disney was told he had no creativity. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Setbacks. But do you know what made them legends off a comeback? The fact that they didn't let a cut, a rejection, a failure, or a mistake define the end of their story. They turned those setbacks into setups. They came back stronger, and because of it, the world had to take notice. And you've got your own comeback story waiting for you. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I know the pain feels permanent. I know the failure feels final. I know the rejection feels like a door slamming forever, but I promise you, it's not the end. It's the setup. Life has a way of writing plot twists. What looks like the end of your chapter is often the start of your next one. What looks like loss is often the seed of a bigger win. What looks like failure is often the training ground for your greatest victory. You just have to refuse to stay down. You just have to believe that there's more after this. You just have to hold on to the truth that a stronger comeback is on the way. Don't let the setback break you. Let it build. Don't let the failure define you. Let it refine you. Don't let the rejection close you. Let it redirect you. Because every setback is setting the stage for a comeback story that people won't forget. But here's the part nobody wants to hear. The comeback doesn't happen automatically. You got to fight for it. You got to grind for it. You got to decide that the setback won't have the last word. You've got to look at the failure and say, thank you for teaching me, but you don't define me. You've got to look at the pain and say, you can stretch me, but you won't stop me. You've got to look at the loss and say, you might have slowed me down, but you can't keep me down. The comeback requires resilience. It requires grit. It requires you to stand up one more time than you got knocked down. And let me remind you, the comeback isn't just about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about showing yourself what you're capable of. And it's about reminding yourself that no matter how dark the night gets, the sun still rises. No matter how bad the storm gets, it still passes. No matter how heavy the weight feels, you can still get stronger under it. The comeback is about building a version of you that's unbreakable, unstoppable, undeniable. Let me talk to somebody right now who feels like they're in the middle of the worst setback of their life. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your business failed. Maybe your business failed. Maybe your relationship crumbled. Maybe your health got hit. Maybe you made mistakes that cost you dearly. You feel like it's over. But I'm here to tell you, this is not the end. This is the setup. This is the turning point. This is the moment you dig deep, rise up, and fight back harder than ever before. This is the moment you turn your pain into power, your loss into lessons, your scars into strength. This is the moment you write your comeback story. And when you come back, because you will, you'll come back stronger. You'll come back wiser. You'll come back tougher. You'll come back with a story that gives hope to others. Because your comeback won't just be for you. It will inspire everyone who watches you. Your resilience will give them courage. Your persistence will give them hope. Your victory will give them faith. And that's why your setback is necessary. Because your comeback is bigger than you. So the next time life knocks you down, don't lay there in defeat. Don't bury yourself in self-pity. Don't let the setback convince you it's over. Get up, dust yourself off, square your shoulders, and say out loud, this is not the end, this is the setup for my comeback. And then fight, grind, push, work, believe, refuse to quit until the comeback shows up. Every setback is a setup for a stronger comeback. Never forget that, because the truth is life doesn't break champions, it builds them. Life doesn't bury warriors, it awakens them. And life doesn't end your story with a setback. It gives you the opportunity to write a comeback that will echo for generations. The greatest weapon you will ever have is not money, not talent, not connections, not even education. The greatest weapon you will ever carry into the battlefield of life is a will that does not break. A will that refuses to bend when pressure mounts. A will that refuses to collapse when storms come. A will that refuses to surrender when the fight gets ugly. Because when your will is unbreakable, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that life can throw at you that will stop you. See, people think the strongest survive because they have muscles, because they're smart, because they're born into privilege, because they're gifted. But I've seen people with all of that still quit. I've seen the talented tap out. I've seen the privileged crumble. I've seen the smartest lose because their will wasn't strong enough to carry them when the gift ran out. And I've seen people with nothing, no money, no support, no special ability, rise up and win because they had an unbreakable will. That's the difference maker. That's the weapon that separates champions from quitters. Your will is like steel. It doesn't bend unless you let it. It doesn't break unless you decide to snap it. And when you build that inner steel, that mental toughness, that refusal to give in, you become unstoppable. You may get delayed, but you won't be denied. You may get knocked down, but you won't stay down. You may get pushed back, but you'll push forward again because an unbreakable will doesn't stop moving. And don't get it twisted. Life will test your will. Life will push you to the edge. Life will try to convince you to surrender. Life will whisper in your ear, you can't take this anymore. It's too much. You're not strong enough. Just quit. And if your will is weak, you'll fold. But if your will is unbreakable, you'll hear that voice and keep going anyway. You'll take the hit and keep standing. You'll feel the pain and keep pushing. You'll see the mountain and keep climbing. That's what makes you dangerous. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not outside you. They're inside you. It's not about the opponent in front of you. It's about the enemy within you. It's about the enemy within you. The voice that said, stop. The doubt that said, not good enough. The fear that said, you'll never make it. That's the real fight. And the only weapon that conquers that enemy is a will that doesn't break. When you decide deep in your core, that quitting is not an option. That surrender is not in your vocabulary. That failure is not your identity. Then no voice inside you can win. Let me be real with you. It's not talent that wakes you up at 4 a.m. to grind. No, it's not money that pushes you through the pain. It's not applause that makes you keep showing up when nobody's watching. It's your will. It's that voice inside that says, I will not stop. I will not fold. I will not break. I will endure this. I will fight through this. I will see this through. That's the weapon you carry every day. And the beautiful thing is your will is not given. It's built. You build it every time you face resistance and refuse to back down. You build it every time you fall and get back up. You build it every time you want to quit but choose to keep going. Your will grows stronger with every test, every challenge, every storm you survive. And when it's forged in fire, when it's been tested over and over and still stands, then it becomes unbreakable. I know some of you right now are facing battles that feel impossible. You've been knocked down so many times, you're tired of standing up. You've been told no so many times, you're tired of asking. You've been carrying so much weight, you're tired of holding on. And everything inside you wants to break. But hear me, you can bend, but you don't have to break. You can stumble, but you don't have to surrender. You can cry, but you don't have to quit. If your will stays strong, you can outlast whatever you're facing. The storm doesn't last forever. The pain doesn't last forever. The rejection doesn't last forever. But your will, if you protect it, if you strengthen it, if you refuse to break it, your will lasts forever. And that's why it's your greatest weapon. Because when all else fails, when you've lost a job, when the money is gone, when the support disappears, when nobody believes in you, when you feel like you've got nothing left, your will is the one thing nobody can take from you. That's yours. That's your weapon. And if you hold on to it, you still have everything you need to fight your way back. Look, talent will get you started, but willpower will finish the race. Opportunity will open doors, but willpower will keep you walking when the hallway gets dark. Resources will give you tools, but willpower will swing them even when your arms are tired. Will is the fire that keeps burning when everything else runs out. And the one who refuses to break always outlasts the one who looks stronger but gives up. So I need you to stop worrying about how gifted you are. Stop worrying about what you don't have. Stop comparing yourself to people who look like they've got it all together. The only thing you need to win is inside you already. You don't need more talent. You need more talent. You need more will. You don't need more money. You need more will. You don't need more followers, more applause, more validation. You need more will. Because if your will doesn't break, you can outlast anybody. Think about the people who inspire you. Think about the ones who changed history. They didn't get there without struggle. They didn't get there without pressure. They didn't get there without moments where quitting looked like the only option, but their will didn't break. They said, I will keep moving. I will keep fighting. I will keep believing. I will not let this situation write the end of my story. And because their will held, they broke through barriers. They did what others thought impossible. And that's the challenge I'm giving you today. Protect your will. Strengthen your will. Refuse to let life break your will. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how heavy it feels, no matter how long it takes, don't you break. Bend if you must, crawl if you have to, cry if you need to, but don't you break. Because the one thing life cannot defeat, the one thing people cannot take, the one thing that guarantees you will rise again is a will that doesn't break. You got a weapon inside you that's more powerful than anything against you. You got a fire inside you that no storm can put out. You got a strength inside you that no weight can crush. And as long as you keep that will unbroken, you will keep standing, you will keep fighting, and you will keep winning, and you'll keep winning. That's your power. That's your edge. That's your greatest weapon. The greatest weapon is not in your hands. It's in your heart. The greatest weapon is not outside you. It's inside you. And when you choose to wield it, when you choose to say, I will not break, then there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can defeat you. Fear of quitting is greater than fear of failure. Let me repeat that so it sinks in. Your fear of quitting must be stronger than your fear of failure. Most people are stopped by fear. They're frozen by fear. They're paralyzed by the thought of failing. But hear me, failing isn't the enemy. Failing isn't the enemy. Failure is not the thing that keeps you from winning. Quitting is. Giving up is. Throwing in the towel is. And the reason so many people never reach the life they're capable of is because their fear of quitting isn't strong enough. See, fear is tricky. It disguises itself as logic. It whispers in your ear that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that it's too hard, that you'll lose. And if you listen to that fear without a stronger voice inside you, it will stop you cold. It will convince you to walk away. It will convince you to settle. It will convince you to accept less than what you're capable of. But if your fear of quitting, the thought of surrendering or betraying yourself, of giving up on your dreams, is greater than the fear of failure, then fear itself becomes fuel. Let me break it down for you. Failure is temporary. Failure is a lesson. Failure is a test. Failure is the universe giving you feedback on what needs to change, what needs to improve, and what you need to work harder at. Failure does not define you, but quitting defines you. Quitting writes your story before you've even had a chance to finish it. Quitting tells the world you've given up, and worse, it tells yourself you've given up. That's why your fear of quitting must always outweigh the fear of failing, because failure doesn't stop you, quitting does. Every successful person you admire has failed. Every person who reached the top has stumbled, fallen, been rejected, been told a no, been counted out, and yet they kept going. Why? Because the thought of quitting was unbearable. The thought of giving up was worse than the pain of failure. The thought of surrendering was a fate they refused to accept. That's why they overcame. That's why they became champions. That's why they're standing at the top while others remain on the sidelines, scared of failing. Look at your own life. Think about the times you almost quit. Think about the moments you were ready to walk away from your dreams, your goals, your calling, your passion, and ask yourself, what stopped you? Was it fear of failure or was it fear of quitting? Because here's the truth. The people who make it are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never quit. They stumble, they fall, they fail, but they keep standing. They keep fighting. They keep moving. Failure is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. Struggle is inevitable. Rejection is inevitable, but quitting is optional. And that's why you must make fear of quitting stronger than fear of failure. You must build a mentality so strong, a resolve so unshakable that no setback, no obstacle, no criticism, no loss, no failure can convince you to throw in the towel. Because if you can do that, nothing in this world can stop you. Let me tell you something else. Fear of quitting is what separates the winners from the wannabes. It's the inner fire that keeps you grinding when nobody's watching. It's the inner voice that pushes you to do one more rep, one more mile, one more page, one more call, one more day. It's what keeps you showing up when the world doubts you, when your body says arrest, when your mind says, hey, give up. If that fear isn't greater than the fear of failing, you'll quit too soon. You'll miss the victory. You'll miss the breakthrough. You'll miss your life. I know some of you are scared right now. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid to try. You're afraid to take the next step. You're afraid the outcome won't be perfect, that it won't be fast, that it won't be easy. And that's normal. But here's the difference. Let that fear remind you not to quit. Let that fear remind you as quitting is not an option. Let that fear push you to take imperfect action, consistent action, relentless action. Fear of failure should motivate you, not paralyze you. But fear of quitting should fuel you. Fear of quitting should scare you into staying your ground and fighting for your future. Because when you quit, you lose. Not just the chance to succeed, not just the prize, not just the goal. You lose yourself, you lose your confidence, you lose your faith, you lose your pride, you lose the story you were meant to tell. Quitting is permanent. Failure is temporary. That's why fear of quitting has to be greater than fear of failure. When you internalize that, nothing else matters. You can face rejection. You can face criticism. You can face setbacks. You can face pain. You can face any challenge because the thought of quitting, the thought of surrendering to defeat is unbearable. Here's the thing. You'll feel like quitting more than you'll feel like failing. Life will test you. Life will push you to your limits. Life will try to convince you it's over. And in those moments, your fear of failure may be loud. You may feel paralyzed by the away and the unknown, but your fear of quitting must be louder. Your commitment to yourself must be stronger than the fear of failing. Your refusal to give up must be greater than the desire to run. When that becomes your mindset, failure loses its power. Failure becomes a teacher, a tool, a stepping stone. But quitting will never be an option. Think about the moments when you were closer to giving up. Maybe it was school. Maybe it was your job. Maybe it was your dream. Maybe it was a relationship. You were tired. You were discouraged. You were hurt. And yet, if you're still here, if you're still fighting, if you're still breathing, it's because something inside you refused to quit. That's the same power you need to call on every day for every challenge. That's the inner weapon that keeps the dream alive. That's what separates those who finish strong from those who fade away. So I need you to remember this every time you're scared to try, every time you're afraid to fail, every time you're standing at the edge wondering if it's worth it. Fear of quitting must outweigh fear of failure. Let that fear push you. Let it drive you. Let it ignite your grind. Let it remind you that quitting is never the answer, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fall. Because as long as you refuse to quit, you're still in the fight and anything is possible. Your success, your breakthrough, your victory is already waiting for you on the other side of fear. And the only way you get there is by refusing to quit no matter what. Every failure you face, every setback, every loss, every mistake is just part of the journey. But quitting ends the journey. But quitting ends the journey. Don't let it end yours. Make your fear of quitting greater than any fear you have of failing. And I promise you, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. Nothing can defeat you unless you agree to lose. Let me say that again so it hits you. Nothing can defeat you unless you give it permission. Life doesn't hand out defeat. You create it the moment you stop fighting, the moment you give up, the moment you decide to surrender. Every challenge, every obstacle, every storm, every person trying to knock you down cannot defeat you unless you allow it to. Your power is in your refusal to submit. You see, defeat isn't something that happens to you. It's not a force outside of your control. Defeat is a choice. Every time you throw in the towel and every time you quit, every time you give up on your dream, every time you allow fear to control you, that's when defeat shows up. But if you refuse to give it permission, if you dig your heels in, if you fight with everything you have, then defeat doesn't exist. It's powerless. It's irrelevant. It's nothing more than an illusion. Too many people live their lives believing that obstacles are permanent. They treat failure like a final sentence. They act like rejection is the end of the story. And because they believe it, they quit. And the moment they quit, defeat wins. But the truth is, defeat only wins if you say yes. Defeat only wins if you nod your head, surrender your heart, and decide it's too hard to keep going. You have the power to say no. And when you say no, nothing in the world can touch you. Look around you. The people who inspire you most, the ones who climbed the highest, who overcame the biggest odds, who turned every loss into a lesson, they weren't immune to struggle. They weren't spared pain. They weren't handed success on a silver platter. They faced failures, obstacles, storms, and opposition, but they never agreed to lose. And because because they refused to accept defeat, they came out on top. That's your key. Refusing to agree to lose makes you and gotta understand something crucial. Life will try to make you give up. The bills will pile up. The deadlines will crush you. The critics will shout. The people around you will doubt you. Even your own mind will whisper, you can't do this, stop, it's too much. And if you believe that voice, if you surrender to it, you agree to lose. But if you fight back, if you push through, if you stay committed to your vision, defeat has no authority over you. You become untouchable. Every battle you face is not meant to break you. It's meant to prove how strong you are. And here's the secret most people don't get. Defeat doesn't exist outside of your mindset. The world cannot defeat you. The storms cannot defeat you. The failures cannot defeat you. Only your mind, your heart, your decision can hand defeat to victory. The moment you refuse to give up, the moment you keep fighting, the moment you rise when everyone else expects you to fall, that's when you become undefeatable. You've got to stop thinking about defeat as something that happens to you. Stop thinking about loss as something that's written in stone. Stop believing that one failure defines your future. The only thing that defines your future is whether you agree to continue or agree to quit. Nothing can touch you as long as your answer is no. Nothing can take away your destiny as long as you refuse to surrender. Nothing can stop the life you're meant to live as long as you fight for it every single day. Let me be real with you. The easiest thing in the world is to quit. It's comfortable, it's painless, it's tempting. But comfort is the enemy of greatness. The moment you quit, you've allowed defeat in the door. The moment you stop fighting, you surrender. And the world will celebrate your defeat, but your future self will mourn it. Don't give defeat that victory. Hold your ground. Plant your feet. Stand tall. Fight. Cling to your vision with every ounce of strength in you. Refuse to agree to lose. I need you to understand. You are stronger than every obstacle you're facing. You are tougher than every criticism that's been thrown at you. You are capable more than every setback that's tried to slow you down. But here's the key. Your strength, your toughness, your capability only matters if you refuse to agree to lose. It's the decision, the mindset, the commitment, the refusal to fold that turns your power into unstoppable momentum. Think about the people who came before you, those who broke barriers, defied the odds, changed the world. They all had something in common. They refused to agree to lose. When the world told them no, they said yes. When the world said it's impossible, they said I can't. When the world tried to bury them, they fought through. And because they refused to surrender, nothing could defeat them. Not society, not circumstance, not failure, not opposition. They became unstoppable because they refused to hand defeat the keys to their life. You got to adopt that mindset right now. Refuse to let setbacks convince you that you're finished. Refuse to let mistakes tell you that you're done. Refuse to let criticism tell you that you're incapable. Refuse to let anyone, including yourself, steal your hope, your vision, your purpose. Nothing can defeat you unless you agree to lose. And as long as you refuse, as long as you fight, as long as you rise, you will conquer every obstacle in your path. I know it's hard. I know the road is long. I know the nights are dark and the burdens feel heavy, but none of that matters if you refuse to agree to lose. If you decide right now that surrender is not an option, that quitting is not on the table, that your dream is worth fighting for no matter how long it takes, then you've already won. Life cannot defeat you. Pain cannot defeat you. Failure cannot defeat you. Not a single person can defeat you. Only you can agree to lose. And I need you to make that decision today. Never, ever, ever agree to lose. The moment you accept that truth, everything changes. You walk taller. You breathe deeper. You push harder. You grind longer. You fight smarter. You endure further. Nothing can stop you because defeat cannot enter your life unless you let it. And if you never let it, you will rise. You will overcome. You will achieve. You will leave a mark on this world that can never be erased. So right now, right in this moment, make the choice. Refuse to surrender. Refuse to quit. Refuse to accept anything less than victory. Nothing can defeat you unless you agree to lose. And you will not agree. You will fight. You will rise. You will endure. You will win. You will thrive. You will become unstoppable. And the world will remember your name, not because the road was easy, but because you refused to give defeat even the smallest chance.